Hello friends, welcome to Gokul Global University. Our today's topic is inverter, which belongs to power electronics too. In current presentation, we will look brief at what is an inverter, who invented the inverter, and how does inverter works. These are the different type of inverter and little brief of all of them. Dear friends, what is an inverter? As the name suggests, it inverts something. In our previous semester, we have studied that phase controlled rectifier. What the rectifier does? The rectifier converts the AC power into the DC one. But our goal of power electronics is to save as possible as energy and thus to reduce the dependency upon the conventional sources. We are going for the new and renewable sources of energy. That is why suppose the solar energy, then the sun will generate the energy through the solar plates etc., and it will give in the form of DC1. Now if my load at my consumer level or at my end use, I have to use it as a AC, then what can I do? I must convert the DC to a AC, and that is why I will require something or such device which can let me do the DC into AC one. So with the help of power electronics devices, we can convert the DC into AC. Also the DC power which is directly usable in the small gadgets, but suppose we are taking example of mobile, it will use the DC battery and we offer very little amount, but some of our home gadgets and household equipment which are runs on AC power. Hence we need efficient way to convert the DC power into AC power. Now the inverter is a static device. It can convert one form of electrical power into the another form or other form of electrical power, but it cannot generate electrical power. See here, the inverter, it only converts the DC power into AC power, but it does not generate the electricity. That is why it is not called, it cannot be called as a generator. It can be used as a standalone device such as solar power or backup power for the home appliances. The inverter takes DC power from the batteries and converts into AC power at the time of the power failure. A power inverter used in power supply networks to conduct the bulk DC power to AC power, that is, it used as a receiving end of HVDC transmission line. The inverter is known as a grid tie inverter. Now let us have a little brief of who has invented the inverter. Before the inverter was invented, a motor generator set and a rotary converter were used to convert a DC power into AC power. The engineering term inverter was first introduced by David Prince in an article titled The Inverter in 1925. In this article, David defined the inverter as the inverse of a rectifier. The term rectifier was in use for more than 2 decades prior to 1925. Rotary converters used as a rectifier until the diode was not available, when it is used for conversion of DC to AC, term as a inverted rotaries. After the invention of power electronic switches, the new era of converters started and increased the application of inverter, which leads to the advancement of an inverter. Now how does an inverter work? Let's understand the working of an inverter by taking an example. One bulb connected with a battery. Assume in your minds One bulb is connected with a battery. It makes a closed path. Hence the current will flow through the bulb. The bulb has two terminals, that are terminal A and terminal B. The positive and negative terminal of the battery is connected with A and B terminal respectively, and the bulb will glow. Okay. Now change the terminal of the battery. The bulb will glow in this direction also. So what is the difference in both cases? Can you understand? If I alternate the terminals of the bulb, then also the bulb will glow. What is the difference in both cases? Here one thing is different, and that is the direction of the AC current only. Now imagine that you can rotate the battery at 50 or 60 rpm. What will happen? Isn't it? Can you guess? Imagine that you can rotate the battery at 50 or 60 rpm. No, the direction will change to 50 or 60 times. This is similar to AC power, and the frequency is 50 or 60 Hz. This is just to understand the working principle of an inverter. Practically, inverter never works like this, and it does not have rotating parts. The inverter uses the power electronic switches like IGBT, MOSFET. The number of switches depends upon the type of inverter and as per the load demand. Let us take circuit diagram of a single phase full bridge inverter to understand the working. You can see here there are four switches, S1, S2, S3 and S4 with a 4 diode 2, D1, D2, D3 and D4, and the center tap load is connected to the terminal A and B, and the battery of voltage V is attached. When switch S1 and S2 are on, S3 and S4 are off. The direction of a current through the load are positive in this condition. It gives a positive half cycle of AC output. Now switch S3 and S4 is on, S1 and S2 is off. The current flowing the opposite direction. It gives a negative half cycle of the AC output. The on and off time of switches decides the output frequency. The output of the inverter is a square wave. The filter used to generate a sine wave. Now let have a little look upon the types of inverter. The inverter can be classified according to many concepts, among which are discussed over here. From the viewpoint of connection of semiconductor devices, the inverter are classified under the bridge inverter, series inverter, parallel inverter, etc. Now accordingly to output waveform, we have decided as a square wave, modified sine wave inverter, a sine wave inverter. You can see in this figure. Accordingly to the types of load, we can classify it as a single phase inverter and three phase inverter. Even more, if we are going to classify single phase inverter, that is half bridge inverter and a full bridge inverter. In a three phase inverter, we can classify more: 120-degree mode of conduction, 180-degree mode of conduction. Moreover, we can classify by the applying voltage and current. That is, voltage source inverter and current source inverter are the example. Now let us look at according to the output waveform. So we have discussed here the square wave inverter. Whatever we have supplied, we have supplied as a DC waveform, but at output terminal we are receiving square wave inverter as shown in figure. In modified sine wave inverter, we are achieving something like triangular wave. You can see in the figure, that is the square wave. We can see here the frequency, but it is not exactly the sine wave. In modified sine wave inverter, we can see that a little bit of sine wave inverter, and the last one, that is the sine wave inverter, it is exactly the sine wave which is achieved through the use of inverter. Now you can see here the single phase half bridge inverter. Okay, little back. In square wave inverter, this is the least used but simplest type of inverter. The output waveform of this inverter is a square wave. The home appliances and most of all equipment that works on AC designed for the sine wave. It converts the straight DC signal to a phase shifting AC, but the output is not a pure AC as we discussed. This is the cheapest type of inverter. If you connect the equipment with the square wave inverter, it makes more losses. The equipment may get damaged in the worst case. This type of inverter used to generate the sine wave inverter by using filter, that is active low pass filter we are using. Then modified sine wave inverter, this is also known as a quasi square wave inverter. Okay, this inverter generates the signal nearer to the sine wave, but it cannot generate the smooth sine wave. A modified sine wave inverter creates some pauses before phase shifting. It does not shift phase directly from positive to negative like a square wave. The construction of the inverter is more complex than the square wave inverter, but simpler than the sine wave inverter. Last one, sine wave. This is the most efficient and complex type of inverter. It generates the pure sine wave, which is similar waveform of the grid power. All AC equipment designed to work on the sine wave signal. Sine wave can be generated from the square wave inverter by modifying the output waveform. This inverter made the least loss, but the cost of the inverter is very high. This type of inverter is widely used in the residential and commercial applications. Now, accordingly to type of load, we are going to classify. There are two types of AC powers, single phase and a three phase. Therefore, there are two types of load, and accordingly to that, there are two types of inverter, single phase inverter and a three phase inverter. In a single phase inverter, the load is single phase, the inverter used to run the load, that is single phase inverter. There are two types of single phase inverter, that is half bridge inverter and a full bridge inverter. Now we are going to have a little look on a single phase half bridge inverter. Two thyristor, here it is given by S1 and S2, but you may use the T1 and T2 too. I have in a diagram waveform, I have used T1 and T2. Two thyristor S1 and S2 connected with two feedback diodes D1 and D2 as shown in the figure. The supply voltage divides into two equal parts. The total supply is V. Here I have divided the upper half as a V by 2 and the lower half as a V by 2. The resistive load used to understand the working principle. Okay, we are going to understand, so that is why I have used only a resistive load. You can see a center tap load, but that is a resistive load, so we need not to worry about the effect of inductance. In mode 1, you can see here the left hand side diagram, that is of mode 1, and right hand side, that is of mode 2. The thyristor S1 is on and S2 is off. During this mode, the current flowing path is V by 2, S1 load, and the circuit will be completed. Okay, little again, from terminal V by 2, S1, terminal B, load, terminal A, and V by 2. So in this V path, in figure it is shown by the blue arrows. That is the path for the mode 1. You can see the current flowing through the load is B2A direction and the voltage across the load is positive. In this mode, the positive cycle of the output will generate. Okay, keep in mind that the current flowing through the load is B2A and the voltage across this load is positive V by 2. In this mode, the positive cycle of the output is generate. Now consider mode 2. We will see the next side the waveform also. Mode 2, the thyristor S2 is on and S1 is off during this mode. So in mode 1, S1 is on and S2 is off. Here the S2 is on and S1 is off. During this mode, the current flowing path is V by 2, A load, B H2 and again V by 2. The current flowing through the load A to B direction. The voltage across this load is negative V by 2. In this mode, the negative cycle of the output will generate. Okay. Now, single phase half bridge inverter consists of two switches as we discussed, two diodes called feedback diodes and 3 wire supply. The diode D1 and D2 functions only when the load is other than the resistive load. You can see here the Ig1 and Ig2 are the gate pulses of your switch. The VO, that is output voltage, Vs by 2 is in a first cycle. You can see here when the terminal A2, when the load, the path is under mode 1, that is up to T1. When the path is in mode 2, then the waveform will be T2, here so on. The output current is given by IO and we know that current is equal to Vs by R. So Vs by 2 upon R, as we have considered a half voltage over here. For any type of load, output voltage waveform will remain same, but the current waveform depends on the nature of the load. It is either resistive, inductive, capacitive, etc. So as we have to use the output RMS value, that is VO RMS is given by in bracket 1 by T summation start from integration starts from 0 to T by 2 Vs square by 4 dt plus again integration from T by 2 to T Vs square by 4 dt bracket close raised to 1/2. Then if we are going to solve this, then output RMS voltage will be Vs by 2 or the V0 RMS will be 1 upon T Vs square T upon 4 into 2 plus Vs square T Vs square by 4 into T by 2 raised to 1/2. That is equal to, if we are going to solve, then it will give us Vs by 2. The output voltage waveform is half wave symmetric, hence all the even harmonics are absent. That is why V0 average will be 0, V0 output, that will be a summation of n is equal to 1 3 to 5 to infinity 1 3 5 up to infinitive 2 Vs upon n pi sin n omega t, and our output current will be summation from n is equal to 1 3 5 to infinitive 2 Vs upon n pi Zn sin n omega t minus phi n. Here what is Zn? Zn is equal to r square plus n omega l minus 1 upon n omega c square raised to 1/2. Where what is phi? Phi n is equal to tan inverse n omega l minus 1 upon n omega c upon r. That is the final solution. Now single phase full bridge inverter. You can see here there are in full bridge inverter 4 thyristor and 4 feedback diodes are used. One DC source is applied to the circuit. In the upper single phase half bridge inverter we have divided, but here no need to divide it because of the arrangement of circuitry. In the half bridge inverter one switch is conduction at a time, and in a full inverter two switches are in a conduction at a time. Okay, you can see here there are 4 switches S1, S2, S3 and S4. The diode D1, D2, D3 and D4. For diodes and for thyristors are switches are there, and the load is center tap. The total voltage V is given. Now this is also we have divided to understand the circuitry. We have divided into 2 modes, or we can also say that it works in 2 modes. That mode 1, when thyristor S1 and S2 are on and the thyristor S3 and S4 are off. During this mode the current flowing path is from V to S1 A load, B S2 to V. The path is shown by the blue line. The current flowing through the load is from A to B, and it makes a positive half cycle. You know, the diode, the thyristor S1 and S2 both are in the forward direction. Why it is from S1 and S2? If we divided as the node above the S1, the current will not pass through, because the S3 and S4 it is already open. It means their current will not flow through that. Then why not to D3? Because D3 and D4 are in the reverse bias. So the path will be from S1 to A load B, load B terminal, you can say S2 and V. The current flowing path through the load is from A to B and makes a positive half cycle. Now for mode 2, in mode 2 what happened? The thyristor S3 and S4 are on and the thyristor S1 and S2 are off. The current flowing path is from V, S3, B, load A, S4 and V. Again the current flowing path is V, S3, B, load A, S4 and V. The current flowing path is shown by the blue lines. The current flowing through the load is from B to A and makes a negative half cycle of output. From the diagram we can draw the waveform. Here the waveform is shown. The Ig1 and Ig2 are the pulses for the switch S1 and S2. The Ig3 and Ig4 for the thyristor or the switch 3 and 4. The VO, that is the output voltage, and that is equal to Vs. And in previous case, in a single phase half bridge inverter we have seen it is Vs by 2, but here the total voltage will appear, that is why it is Vs. And in the first mode the T1 and T2 or S1 and S2 will be conduct in the reverse cycle. The T3 and T4 will conduct, again T1 and T2 will conduct, and the cycle will be so on. Now you can see here I have taken your load, and the first waveform is with the consideration that the load is resistive load. But what will happen if we are using the different type of load? So again I have drawn the same diagram, and the first diagram will be of output voltage, that is equal to square wave, and that is for the resistive load. For the L type of load you can see that in L type of load in L type of load, we can find that V0, that is output voltage, will be square wave, but the current output will be a exponential. You can see output current will be exponential. Again, for the RL load 2, if we are going, it will also exponential load. Now if you consider RLC load, so when XL greater than XC, that overdamped response, the V0 will be square wave and I0 will be something like sine wave, but it is not a pure sine wave. If the circuit is overdamped, then you can see the waveform here, and if the circuit is underdamped, you can see here the response of output current. Now let me mathematically brief it. When the resistive load V0 and I0, that is square wave, both are similar or identical, we can say. This switching device conducts for 180 degree or T by 2, we can say. Each feedback diode conducts for 0 degree, because due to the resistive load there is no need of resistive load. So that is why there is nothing is required. If we are considering pure inductive load or L load, the output voltage will be square wave and the output current will be triangular wave, with the function that I0 is equal to 1 upon L integration Vs dt, and Vs, if we solve that, it will be Vst by L. Each switching devices conduct for 90 degree or T by 4, we can say. Each feedback diode conducts for 90 degree or T by 4, we can say. Peak value if inductor current, that is Vs by L into T by 4. While we consider RL load, we have seen the waveform, that is V0, that is square wave, and I0, that is exponential. RLC, if we consider the RLC load, the when XL is greater than XC, the overdamped response, we will get the V0, that is a square wave, and I0, that is a sinusoidal wave. More, the characteristic equation of second order RLC circuit will be S square plus RL S plus 1 upon LC, that is 0, or in brief we can say R greater than 2 into under root L upon C. In this type of circuits, the force commutation of thyristor is required, because to turn off the thyristor switches S1 and S2 at T by 2, anode current should comes to 0. Due to the load, it is not possible, because current becomes 0 after the voltage becomes 0. When XL greater than XC, then the response will be underdamped and R will be less than 2 upon under root LC. R becomes less than 2 into under root L upon C. Here the force commutation is not required, because to turn off the switches S1 and S2 at T by 2, anode current should comes to 0. Due to load, it is possible, because current becomes 0 before the voltage becomes 0. In load commutation occurs due to underdamped response. Load commutations is occurring, that is why force commutation is not required. And now we see the voltage performance, that output RMS voltage will be given by 1 upon T integration from 0 to T by 2 Vs square dt plus integration from T by 2 to T Vs square dt raised to 1 by 2. The output RMS voltage will be Vs, or RMS output voltage will again be solved, that is under 1 upon T Vs square T by 2 plus Vs square T by 2 raised to 1 by 2, that is also Vs. Output voltage waveform is a half phase symmetric, hence all even harmonics are will absent. That is why V0 average will be 0. V0 is equal given by summation from 1 n is equal to 1 to infinity 4 Vs by n pi sin n omega t. Output current will be also given by summation from n is equal to 1 to infinity 4 Vs upon n pi Zn sin n omega t minus phi n, and Zn is equal to r square plus n omega L minus 1 upon n omega c square raised to 1/2. Now you can see the three-phase inverter. So here the diagram is shown that three switches and three diode, six switches and six diode are used. The total voltage, that is V. For providing adjustable frequency power to the industrial application, three-phase inverter are more commonly used than a single-phase inverter. Three-phase inverters like single-phase inverter take their DC supply from a battery or more usually from a rectifier. A basic three-phase inverter is six-step bridge inverter. It is use a minimum of 6 thyristor in inverter terminology. A step is defined as a change in the firing from one thyristor to the next thyristor in a proper sequence. For one cycle of 360, each step would be 60-degree interval. For a 6-step inverter, this means that thyristor would be gated at a regular interval of 60 in the proper sequence, so that a three-phase AC voltage is synthesized at the output terminal of 6-step inverter. Here the figure shows the power circuit diagram of a three-phase bridge inverter using 6 thyristor and 6 diode. As stated earlier, the transistor family of a device is now very widely used in inverter circuits. Presently, the use of IGBT in single-phase and three-phase inverter is on the rise. The basic circuit configuration of inverter, however, remains unaltered as shown in figure. For a three-phase bridge inverter using IGBT in the place of thyristor, a large capacitor connected at the input terminals stands to make the input DC voltage constant. This capacitor also suppresses the harmonics fed back to the DC source. An inverter using 6 thyristor commutation and a snubber circuit are omitted for simplicity. Here we have not shown the snubber circuits. It may be seen that a three-phase bridge inverter consists of 3 half-bridge inverters arranged side by side. We can see here 3 half-bridge inverters are arranged side by side. The three-phase load is assumed to be star connected in figure. The thyristors are numbered in the sequence in which they are triggered to obtain a voltage VAB, VBC, VCA at the output terminal ABC of the inverter. There are two possible patterns of getting the thyristor. In a pattern is thyristor conducts for 180 degree, and in other is thyristor will be conduct for a 120 degree. That is for 120 degree mode of conduction. You can see here the waveform. That is one for 180 degree mode of operation or mode of conduction. In the three-phase inverter, SCR conducts for 180 degree of a cycle. Thyristor pair in each arm, that is T1, T4, T3, T6 and T5, T2 are turned on with a time interval of 180 degree. So friends, we pause here. It will take more time to deliver these things. We will consider, or we will teach the 120 degree and 180 degree mode of conduction in the next lecture. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can put it in comment box. Thank you very much.